Hello, everyone. This is Daniel, and I have a secret.
For I have a kingdom!
Actually, the kingdom is my imaginary world revealed in paint. It all sprouts from my studio, and now has come to define it. I call it the dungeon. It's a productive, creative space, primarily dedicated to my still life painting, but capable of audio and video recording. I'm a visual storyteller. I welcome and encourage subconscious flow. I'm proud of this body of work. I think it's something special that's been years in the making. The fact is, I have a long, crooked tail. You don't have to spread that around. I've always believed that art is one of mankind's highest achievements, that artists are powerful and important, people compelled by the maker's spirit, so to speak. I've always felt that I was born on a mission to do something artistically great. I'm still trying to achieve that goal, and I give the pursuit everything I have. Creatively, technically, intellectually, the kingdom challenges me to my limits. I've found that staying in touch with 8-year-old me is key. When I was a kid, I would sit and make scenes out of construction paper and modeling clay. Now in my 60s, I find myself doing much the same thing, only now for the purpose of servicing a painting. I hope to earn the right to be considered a great artist. The kingdom begins here. Torches, tower, and dragon. I put these objects on this simple pine board, and out of that grew a kingdom. The storytelling implications, the metaphor, possibilities, limited only by my imagination, and that's exactly what I was looking for. Origami Dragons are the cornerstone of the kingdom. I am also quite fond of using colored glass to produce what I call luminous shadows. Difficult to capture in paint, but a visual treat. I also want to mention that I work from life. There's no use of photography or tracing in my process. Villagers have come to the well, but the well is dry. It's about the potential for chaos when resources are no longer available. Delivered with a delicate but powerful luminous shadow. I was fortunate enough to have had some great teachers. On the other hand, I received a D in painting in grad school. It's a priceless, true story, worth more than any A+. It's a badge of honor, I think. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure on the timeline, but sometime after that I dropped out of grad school to self-educate. I always vowed to follow my instincts and interests, and that's taken me on many tangents. I was wired with a skill set that made me capable in multiple areas, including writing fiction or songwriting and recording, but typically I didn't just write music, I wrote a wide variety of music. And likewise, I was never able to funnel myself into a niche as a visual artist. I was juggling multiple folios and multiple styles and genres. I had to find what I do best, what is most mine, perhaps what is most challenging. This is innocence, beginning to navigate some of life's potential problems. My imaginings on parenting. I took some inspiration from Rockwell for that spatter on the back wall. Here's a great example of the lengths that I go to attempting to create a work of art, conceiving of and constructing this spacecraft, only to render it in paint. This painting oozes atmosphere and mood, I think. I isolated myself, artistically speaking, for around 15 years. I became a caveman, digging deep within sort of a deprivation tank. I gave myself homework assignments, such as learning to work in series or just different design projects. I began organizing my ideas and such as that. I didn't want to be further influenced at that time. I wanted to discover what was mine. I began focusing on still life in 2006, beginning the kingdom in 2011. I like to think that all of my side roads have intersected, bringing me to a powerful creative space. The flame has escaped, to the keeper's bewilderment. This painting has a sense of magic and wonder. Though this is a representation of physical reality, the fantasy is implied. Within the kingdom, a simple cloth can become endless dunes in a mysterious landscape. We get a sneak peek at events taking place around an oasis. I produced this painting recovering from an injury and an accompanying depression. I had lost my way for a while, but then came this. It's been well received. Weary visitors have traveled here seeking radical treatment, desperate. When they entered the shack and their eyes adjusted, their host manifested herself in the corner, seemingly very eager for guests. Strings are now bars. This musician was unfairly imprisoned by a hungover, capricious king. What we see, however, is a moment of joy, lost in the music of the mind, something no one can take away. Art sustaining the artist through the worst of circumstances. I want to demonstrate that the still life genre is relevant and vibrant. Though my still life's embraced tradition, I don't rest there. I could never be content with the fruit bowl. My instincts have taken me elsewhere, pursuing visual drama and storytelling. hoping to find what is special. I take many liberties rendering a setup into paint, always folding in toward a better painting. What I'm doing is a mixture of painting what I see and painting what I need to see. Might even throw in a bit of magic realism on occasion, but I am primarily representing physical reality in a heightened state. It's common for me to treat heavy subjects with humor. My paintings often have a sort of surface absurdity or silliness, but often also with darker undertones. It gives them some complexity to the content, I think. I give insight with a brief passage of fiction that accompanies each painting, Tales from the Kingdom. It seems there's a disagreement over who the real dragons are. Don't want to miss this. All to the backdrop of a spectacular volcanic eruption. Ribbons of lava, the background cloth evoking falling debris. It's rare for so many dragons to stand in solidarity like this. Fear of the unknown will do that, I guess. Note how the shadow itself is a menacing character within this scene. Sisters, village cuties, they were brought in under dire circumstances, for the prince was in a bad way, needing a kiss and couldn't get one. At the wizard's suggestion, a compromise was reached, and the girls kissed the potion instead. My folks got rid of my rock'em sock'em robots back in the day. Garage sale or some dirty business. Years later, I found some beside the dumpster while I was recycling. And here they are. Something deep within me champions individualism. It's tied to my understanding of what it is to be an artist. It's my favorite ism, I think. In any case, I suppose everyone's felt like this once in a while. I dare not draw comparisons to Da Vinci and the Mona Lisa, but these two do sport some rather enigmatic expressions, don't you think? Then again, one of them's cheating. He's wearing a mask. That wizard, he's been up to it again. Wizard business, he would say. But I don't know. Doesn't seem quite right to me. I'm not aware of anyone manipulating pain in quite this manner. Not that I invented what I'm doing at all, but I did develop it over time in isolation. I call it stipple glazing, and it utilizes specialty brushes, many of which you won't find in the art store. Blue wipes. What can I say about blue wipes? I'm still considering writing a song ode to blue wipes. I love you. I'm not kidding. I couldn't do what I do without this product. This is a particular brand of shop towel. And the way that it allows me to do this, for example, that is a formidable point. and has everything to do with my drawing in paint, tamping, softening edges. This is an indispensable thing for me. Specifically important to me are dynamic edges. In fact, I look for opportunities to lose contours altogether. Objects can seem to materialize like they're emerging from their surroundings, brushstrokes being eliminated altogether. Let's get one thing straight. I tap out all the time, but I never give up. And if the wizard's mischief wasn't bad enough, look what the Red Queen's been up to. That shadow suggests the characters are awashed in blood. The cootie catcher suggests the randomness of her acts. Straw men making big promises? What could go wrong? Would you sign away your soul to the king if they showed up at your door? I'm suspicious. They are very polite and have lovely teeth. A lot of time is taken trying to find what I regard as the sweet spot with regard to lighting and, of course, shadows. The painting itself will take months to complete, so time taken on the front end is well worth it. It seems this monstrosity is being offered for sale to the king. You know, the type of weapon so overwhelming it will end all war. I left an imperfection in the painted version of the wonder weapon. Felt like the right thing to do. By the way, that spider's real. Visual drama. Believe it or not, this was somewhat inspired by John Singer Sargent's Lady Macbeth. Here's another example of my use of alternative lighting. The double reflections are a wonderful metaphor for the friends' minds being blown. These are street performers, buskers, struggling for a wider audience. One of them's discovered a new trick. Maybe it was just the wind. Jealousies quickly developed. There were already whispers about going solo, though none of them realized it at the time. This was the beginning of the end. Ultimately, I want my viewers to have a rich, satisfying experience. What I'm presenting is most authentic, I think. Not to mention, to my knowledge, no one's ever used the Origami Dragon before as a muse. I believe the kingdom presents engaging content in a unique way. It's my singular vision, offered in oil paint. In addition to painting, I'm somewhat exploring the still life genre itself, with alternate lighting and content. I'm hoping to connect with viewers beyond the painted surface. But if I only make you smile, I guess that's okay too. Thank you for viewing and for visiting the deep depths of my deepness. Well, lastly, and perhaps most importantly, no matter what you're doing, always remember to bring the thunder and to put some mustard on it.